to get this done before the battery runs out. But so hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. A long time no sit down and talk. So if this video is a little bit scattered, please try to bear with me. My brain is a little bit everywhere, but I am finally coming at you finally coming at you with my first trimester update and everything that's been going on, because if you have been a subscriber of this channel for a little while, you know I took about a 2.5 month break, and I will get into it in this video. So currently I am sitting in what will be baby's nursery, which is a bit exciting because I've never been able to make a nursery and nest properly before, because with my son we moved from the Gold Coast back to our hometown when I was about 30 weeks pregnant, so we didn't set anything up, we didn't buy much, so it was a very different experience in that regard to this time around where we've got our own home and I can be let loose with my creativeness and my nesting. But however, this video is all about my first trimester. Currently, as of filming this, I'm 22.5 weeks pregnant, and that's blowing my mind because quite frankly this is just zoomed freaking past. I've only got about probably 3.5 months left, depending on a few things that I'll talk about in this video. But yeah, it's just been a bit of a crazy whirlwind and I'm starting to get a little bit anxious to get everything done. However, this video's focus is on the first trimester, and first thing is that right off the bat I got diagnosed with gestational diabetes and was eventually, by the end of my first trimester, placed on high risk, just because they wanted to treat me as if I have type 2 diabetes. So apart from my normal things that you take, if you can hear loud things in the background, there is a house being built next door and it is loud, like there's banging, there's sawing. Even the blinds in this room are making a bit of a sound right now and I'm not quite sure why, but there's a bit of noise, so bear with me. But apart from taking your normal multivitamin, I take the normal multivitamin has folic acid in it, but I take an extra dose of that. I take extra iron, I take an extra high dose of calcium, I am taking aspirin because of my previous high risk of preeclampsia, which I'll get into in a minute. I'm also now on a drug called metformin, which is what helps with the gestational diabetes in controlling blood sugars. However, it doesn't really help with your fasting blood sugars. It helps with, once you've eaten something, the 2-hourly or your post-meal blood sugars, to keep that a little bit under control, which has been working quite well. However, now in my second trimester, it's not being as effective, which I'll get into in my second trimester update. But yes, I am taking a range of drugs with added blood pressure medication now. But yes, so I've been diagnosed with gestational diabetes. By the end of my first trimester, I believe it was, I had pretty high signs of developing preeclampsia quite earlier. Actually that might have been in my second trimester, but anyway, that's why I take aspirin, because I was put on that immediately, because with my son I had a 1 in 7 risk of developing preeclampsia. The scan clinic we used in the Gold Coast had a test that they could do to see my risk, and it was pretty high, so I was put on it as a precaution. Thankfully though, I never developed it with him, but this time around there was some signs towards the end of my first trimester that I was developing it, but that's something that I will be dealing with a bit further along in this second trimester. But yeah, if you've been a subscriber from my channel for a little while, you may have noticed that I had taken a 2.5 month break, which I think I said before, but that was because my first trimester I was so sick. I wasn't throwing up per se a lot, I did a bit, but nowhere near as much as I did with my son. However, I was so nauseous that it just sort of knocked me out. I just didn't do much other than look after my son through the week and then work over the weekend. Other than that, I took it easy, so my YouTube channel suffered and I didn't get up any videos that I wanted to. I had filmed a couple, or tried to, but then I just never got to editing them. So I'd like to apologise about that. However, I just couldn't help it. However, I'm back, and now you guys all know that we are expecting baby number 2, which is so exciting, and something that we're looking forward to in the new year to kick off 2021 with a much more positive note than this year. But another thing that has happened throughout my first trimester, due to being so nauseous and because of the gestational diabetes, I was put on a diet, a specific diet where it's obviously no sugar and low carb. I did recently find out that it was the wrong diet, but a side effect of that, I have lost up to date now a total of 14 kilos, which is insane. And they want me to put that back on probably by the end of the pregnancy, but I don't know how it's going to happen. So a mixture of that diet plus being so sick, I lost a lot of weight, which is probably, I noticed it a lot in my face and my neck. So yeah, I look a little different from my last couple, my previous videos, but that's a good thing. I'm not upset about it. However, my doctors do want me to gain some weight back on, but we'll see what happens. I don't know about that idea, but we'll see. Yeah, it is normal to gain weight in pregnancy, obviously, and I know I'm going to, but I have lost a pretty significant amount. But yes, towards the end of my first trimester, I did get a lot of signs that I was developing preeclampsia again. Not again, I've never had it. What am I talking about? There's a lot of signs that I was developing preeclampsia pretty early, which escalated a bit more in my second trimester. So yeah, thankfully though, everything's looking good and I haven't, but with the combination of gestational diabetes and the combination with the possible pretty good chance of developing preeclampsia, I will be induced early. I won't be going over due, and I won't be letting go to my due date either, most likely. So it's looking like this baby might be a January baby, but we will see what happens. It is due in February, so we'll see. Little bubba, I don't know what we're having. That is another thing that we will find out in the next couple of weeks. We have a friend who knows, and we are going to be throwing a little bit of a reveal, which I'm hoping to film, but we'll see. I might do just a little bit of a thing on here if you guys are interested in knowing what we're having. In terms of names, have no idea what we're going to name it if it's a boy. We have a couple of ideas for girls, but boy names seem to be a bit of a struggle this time, so we'll see. We'll see what it ends up being. But cravings, I haven't really had many through the first trimester. Things that I did have were KFC chips were life. Like, they just tasted so damn good the first trimester, and then towards the end was sort of like, towards the end of my first trimester was like potato and gravy, which is like the worst things that I could be eating while having gestational diabetes. You're not supposed to be eating that much carbs, but it was so good. I haven't been craving any sweet things, I've only been craving salty things. So that's been a bit interesting, because with my son, all I wanted was sweet things. Like, even my Hawaiian pizza was the one thing that if anybody messes with when I was pregnant with him, like, pray for you if you messed with it during his pregnancy. However, this time around I haven't had any solid crazy I need that kind of cravings, especially now. I've sort of turned off a lot of food. Doesn't sound real good to me either. So it's been a bit interesting. I've never had the food aversions because, oh my gosh, that was a new thing. Rice bubbles, smell of rice bubbles just smelled like vomit to me. The first trimester, I just could not deal. Like, I haven't opened a packet or my box in the cupboard of it since. I just can't stand the smell of it. Which has been interesting because I never had any of those kinds of things with my previous. As I think I mentioned earlier, I might not have, but this is technically my third pregnancy. My first pregnancy was what they class as a miscarriage when I was quite a bit younger. And then obviously I've had my son, which was a almost 2-week overdue little boy. Little isn't accurate. He was a big 9-pound one boy. So this time around, I don't know, like, it's going to be interesting not going overdue, but however, with all the added things of the gestational diabetes, having to manage that and the possible risk of developing preeclampsia or looking like it is, has played a big part in my mental health. And honestly, I suffer from anxiety anyway. That's just something that I do deal with, and then on top of these extra things and that anxiety around pregnancy loss, which I have been through, it's just sort of made it a bit harder mentally this time around. I'm trying, one thing that I'd said in this pregnancy is I wanted to go into it wanting to enjoy it, and then I just got slammed with these things left, right and center, and I'm piled on with appointments like every week. This week, flash forward if you like as an example, this week I would have had to have had 3 different appointments just this week. So it's been a bit hard on my mental health. However, I'm doing okay. But it is something that I think people need to recognize through pregnancy and not try to deal with it on your own, because there's help there. Talk to your doctors, especially because they are there to help you, or your partner. Just find that person that if you feel like you need to talk to somebody and just get those emotions out, please do, because it will help. I know it's hard and difficult sometimes, but it's a lot better than bottling it in, which is something I've had to learn through my life. But yeah, it's been a bit of a struggle with that. That's something that I have struggled with this time around. Other than that, I'm not quite sure what else I can update regarding my first trimester. Other than this one is a high risk pregnancy. Baby otherwise has been doing perfectly fine. There is absolutely nothing wrong so far with baby. Looking perfectly healthy, strong heartbeat, which has been a much needed mental and physical, just a relief, a sigh of relief that even though there's all these things going on, baby has been doing and growing perfectly fine. However, there's a good chance it just might be a little bit of a bigger baby again. However, we'll see, because it's going to be born 2 to 3 weeks probably early instead of 2 weeks overdue. So we'll see how big this baby ends up being. As my guess, I still have about 8-ish pounds or around that figure in my head, because I've only had a big baby, a big one. My son came out almost 3 months in size to me. He was almost straight into 0 to 3 month clothing. So he had about a week, or he had a couple of days in 5 zeros, and then he had a week or 2 in 4 zeros, and then just went into 0 to 3 months almost. Or 3 zeros. yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if this baby's a bit smaller, and that'll be it. Okay, sorry if the camera angle changed a little bit. I am sitting on the floor and I thought I heard a knock on the door, but anyway. It will be interesting to see how big or small this little one is. As long as it's healthy and happy, I don't care. But bump wise, currently it wouldn't be real accurate for a first trimester little bump shot, but I had never had a bump. I didn't get a bump. I still haven't really got a solid bump. At night time it tends to pop out, but there's no real show there other than my mummy tummy. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks I'll really pop, but currently that's only sort of shows at night time, but there's nothing there. There's nothing there to show, and I'm obviously now in my second trimester. So I think that'll be it for this first trimester update. Thank you guys so much for watching through and listening to my rambling. But I will see you guys in my next video and in the videos to come, which are going to be exciting. So if you are new here, please hit that subscribe button and be excited for more baby content, as well as still going to be posting some cleaning motivation, but a lot of it's going to end up being a bit more baby related or orientated content, with my super nesting coming up in another month or so, as well as all my Christmas videos, which I'm so excited for. Yeah. But anyway, if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button and hang around. We would love for you to join in and see what's to come. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. My head's cut off. There, maybe. Oh, this is going to be a bit of an interesting video. My hair is a little bit crazy. Goodness me. I hope this is good lighting, because quite frankly, I don't know. Okay. And now the lighting is going to go all funny. Alright.